this trick, I would need the deck to be completely shuffled by a spectator. So I would hand the deck over to a spectator and tell them, please go ahead and mix up this deck as much as you'd like. And as they're shuffling, I would actually point to the box that I have sitting here on the table. And I tell them that I actually have a prediction of the future inside of that box. And I promise that I will not go anywhere near this prediction. I will not touch it ever in this trick. I will only have you open the prediction at the end of the trick, okay? I promise I will not go anywhere near that box. So once the spectator's done shuffling, I ask them, okay, are you satisfied with that shuffle? They say yes. I'll take the deck back. We'll just spread out the cards just so that you can see here. This is a completely normal shuffled deck. All of the cards are completely different, right? Okay, and that is a fact. So what's gonna happen in this trick is you're going to be making some choices, and all of these choices are going to be free choices. Everything that you will do will be completely based on your decisions, and I promise that. So the first decision that you're going to make is we're going to need a random card here from the middle of the deck, and whichever card that you touch, we're going to use that card to spell count, and we're going to find some more cards using that card. So this might not make any sense, but I promise it will in just a moment. So all I need you to do is touch a random card here in the middle. And like I said, this is all based on your decision, so it can be a completely free choice. If they want this one, I asked, do you want to change your mind? And they say, actually, yeah, I want the one 2 cards over. And I say, okay, are you sure about that? And they say, yes. So let's see the card that they ended up on here. So the 5 of diamonds. So like I said, whatever card you touch, we're going to be spell counting this card. So what I mean by spell counting, right? We're gonna spell the name of this card with the value and the suit, and we're going to find 2 more random cards using that. So let's see which cards we end up on when we spell this card. So we have 5, F-I-V-E. We land on this card here. And then since we have diamonds, we're going to spell diamonds, D-I-A-M-O-N-D-S. And we land on those 2 cards right over there. So you can agree, if you had chosen a different card other than the 5 of diamonds, we would have ended up on 2 other cards, because you can agree that every other card in the deck has a different amount of letters, and that's just a fact. Like, there's no way I could have predicted. And also, you shuffled this deck, so you could have touched it in any place, and these 2 cards just would have been different cards. So now we have one more choice to make, and that choice is we need to end up on only one of these cards. Because I'll tell you right now that the prediction I've made, it's only based on 1 card. It's not based on 2. So we're gonna need to get rid of one of these. And like I said, every choice in this trick is based on your decisions. So in your own time, I would like you to go ahead and just pick up any one of those cards, okay? And place it on top of the box. So you can agree that was a completely free choice. And look, if you had picked up this card, we would have ended up on the 3 of spades. In fact, if you had made any other decision in this trick, we might have ended up on a completely different outcome, because you shuffled the deck, you chose that 5 of diamonds, and we spelled that name of the card, 5 of diamonds, and we landed on those 2 cards. You picked up this card and placed it on the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've ended up on. Over here, we've ended up on the 2 of spades. Like I said, I'm not gonna go anywhere near this prediction. If I had a spectator here with me, I would tell them to please open up the box and take a look at what's inside. And they will actually find that inside there is a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, there is something written on it. And I think you will be surprised to see that it is none other than the 2 of spades, the exact card that you've ended up on. And yeah, that's the trick. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little open prediction trick. And if you enjoyed it, please remember to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So even though this trick seems like everything is a completely fair choice, the method for this trick is actually based off of a really, really clever force that seems really fair, but in reality, the outcome is gonna be the same every single time. Here's the little setup for this trick. It's not really even a setup. The deck is completely impromptu, completely shuffled. But what you're gonna wanna do is just get any piece of paper and then write down the name of any card. I just did the 2 of spades. I folded it up, and then I'm gonna place it inside of this card box here, and that is the setup for the trick. And then you just set this off to the side. There's no real prep in the deck. all you want to do is just make sure that you have that card that you're going to force in the deck. So here, the 2 of spades is in the deck, but you don't need to put it on top or the bottom or anything. It doesn't matter where that card is, because the first step of this trick is you're going to give the deck over to the spectator and they're going to shuffle it as much as they like. The purpose for this is just to let the spectator feel the cards getting shuffled, and this is so that you can call back to this moment later in the trick and remind the spectator that they shuffled the cards and that everything just seems a little bit more random. So they can go ahead and mix up the deck as much as they like. It really doesn't matter, but when they're done, they're gonna hand the deck back to you and you're gonna flip over the deck and spread it out on the table just to show the spectator that all the cards are different and shuffled. But what you're actually doing is you are looking for your forced card. So here I see the 2 of spades. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my forced card and then I'm gonna count 3 cards to the left of that card. And then I'm gonna look at that card and remember this card. If I see the 2 of spades and I count 1, 2, 3, I find a 7 of clubs. So that's gonna be my new key card. So when I find that 7 of clubs, I'm just gonna keep that in my head and then I'm gonna spread through, showing the spectator that all the cards are different. When I find that 7 of clubs, I'm gonna keep my index finger on that card just as I spread the rest of the deck. And then I'm gonna just split the deck at that 7 of clubs and then kind of just turn my hands over, just showing that the deck is normal. Take all the cards in my left hand, turn them over, and then take all the cards in my right hand and place them on top, turned over. So what this does is it actually places my force card in the 4th position from the top of the deck. So here's my 2 of spades in the 4th position, and that is all you need in order to do this next force. So this force that I'm about to teach you, I forget the exact name of it, but I watched a video on YouTube of a magician teaching it, and he gave credit in the video, but I can't find the video anymore. But if you guys know the name of this force, please let me know, because it is a really, really great force, and I do want to give credit. But essentially what this force looks like is this. So the spectator is able to choose any card in the entire deck. So it doesn't matter what card they choose. Whichever card they choose, you're going to be doing this move here where you're going to take all of the cards above their selection, turn them over like this, and then you're going to use your thumb here to grab that card as you turn your hand back over face up, and then you're going to take all the cards in your left hand and place those back on top. So what this does is it secretly cuts the deck, so it then moves the top half of the deck to be underneath the selection, and that's exactly what you want. So it doesn't matter what card this is, but as long as you do that cutting motion, it will place your 2 of spades in the correct position for this force. So here's the force that you're going to be doing. So before you do all this, you're going to say, so whichever card you choose, we're going to be using that card to spell count to some more cards, and then we're going to use those cards as our final selections. When you say the word spell count, it's kind of an ambiguous word. The spectators have never really heard this before. They're not really going to know what you mean. Spell count, it's 2 different things. Depending on what card this is, you're going to be doing multiple different things. There's basically multiple outs in this trick, but it all looks exactly the same. There's really no difference in the spectator's eyes, but there are some very, very tiny little differences depending on what card they actually choose here. For whichever card this is, you're going to somehow need to get to the 4th face down card here from the top by either spelling the name of this card or by counting the value of the card. So in this case, I see we have a 10. So that means all I have to do is just spell the word 10 and I'll get there. So I go T-E-N and then I'll land on that 4th face down card, and it's very simple. So I'll do a quick other example with another card. Let's say we have the Queen of Diamonds here. So this is a completely different card, but what if the spectator chose this card? So in this case, I would actually use the Queen here in the spelling process. So I would actually use it Q-U-E-E-N, then C, we will always land on that 4th card. So it doesn't really matter what this card is. No matter what it is, you're going to be spelling to the 4th position every single time. So let's just stick with the Queen here. We're going to go Q-U-E-E-N. We land on this card. This will always be the 2 of spades. The suit here doesn't matter because it's always going to be a random card. The only thing you want to keep track of is if the last card of the value spelling was on the letter or after the letter. In this case, you did on the letter. So you did Q-U-E-E-N. You took the N card, so you took the last letter. Then you're going to want to take the last letter of the suit as well. So D-I-A-M-O-N-D-S, and then you're going to want to take this card. The only reason for that is you just want to be consistent, so it looks like the rules will apply no matter what. But here are your 2 cards that you've chosen, and you remind the spectator that if they had chosen a different card, it would have been a completely different outcome. But here, you're always going to be left on the 2 of spades and a random card. So now, here's the last part of the trick. You're going to be essentially giving the spectator a free choice as to which card they end up on, but you're going to be doing this in a very sneaky way. So you're going to tell the spectator that the card that we end up on is going to be completely up to them, but you're not really going to say the card you choose will be the prediction. That's not what you're doing here, because they could potentially choose the other card. So in order to compensate for this, you're going to be dribbling the cards the entire time as you're talking. So this next line of dialogue is very important because it will determine what happens next in the trick. So you're going to be just casually dribbling the cards as you say this, because this is in order to compensate for if they choose the wrong card. So in your own time, I would just like you to go ahead and pick up one of those cards. And then they're gonna go ahead and pick up one of the cards. So for example, if they pick up this card, you're going to then finish your sentence with, and place this on the box. And that will look like that you were intending for that to happen the entire time. So in full speed, it would look like, so I'd like you to pick up one of the cards, you wait for them to pick up a card. If they pick this one up, you finish with, and I'd like you to place it on top of the box. But then, if they choose the other card, it will look something like this. So I'd like you to go ahead and pick up one of the cards, and let's say they pick up this one. Now you've been dribbling this entire time, right? So if they pick this card up, then you say, and I'd like you to go ahead and just toss it in the deck. And you open the deck up in the middle, and they're gonna go ahead and toss this card in the deck. So that means you're now eliminating that random card. And it looks completely natural because the entire time you've been dribbling the cards, so it looks like you've been preparing for this moment to happen for the entire time. But all you're doing is essentially giving them the instruction to pick up a card. You're going to wait until they pick up a card, and then you're gonna finish your instruction with either and place on top of the box, or drop it somewhere in the middle of the deck. No matter what happens, you will always be left with the 2 of spades. And then when the trick is over, you tell the spectator to open the box and they'll find the prediction inside, and that's the end of the trick. So yeah, that is essentially the entire trick right there. It's a really, really easy concept, but it's a really, really strong effect because it seems like the spectator has a completely free choice in all aspects of this trick, but in reality, you're actually under full control the entire time. So yeah, that's the trick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and see you guys next time. Bye.